This is Gemara Eruvin Daf Lamed Hey, Sunday's Daf. Let's pick it up from the bottom of Lamed Aleph and Beis, in the middle of discussions then in the Mishnah. Let's remind ourselves then in the Mishnah, on the bottom of Lamed Aleph and Beis, what happened over here is we had an Eruv in a place that you can't really get to the Eruv. That was the situation. Nasta bebigdol, you lost the key. It's a good Eruv, says Tanakama. Then Rav Elazar said, if you know where it is, if you don't know where it is, I'm sorry, it's not a good Eruv. So the Gemara first tried to figure out how is it a good Eruv if you can't get it. And the Gemara explained that we're going to the opinion of Rav Meir that you could theoretically get it without a key because Avir Delivni, the bricks are stacked on top of each other. And therefore, you could take it apart according to the din of Rav Meir and get to your Eruv. Now, what is the din of Rav Eliezer? So says the Mishnah, says the Gemara, I'm sorry, so we finished off there, we're talking about, it's supposed to be talking about Yontif. Says the Gemara, three lines from the bottom, I'm down on the base, that which we said of Eliezer, Oimer. And again, Rashi, we're just going to go with the second Pshat in Rashi. Rashi says that Rav Eliezer in the Mishnah, when he says, if you don't know where your Eruv is, if you don't know where the key is, I'm sorry, then it's not a good Eruv. He's talking about bisadeh, he's talking about it's in the field, and then it's going to fit with this price they're about to quote. That says the Gemara of the Eliezer Omer. In be'ir avad Eruv Eruv. If you lost it in the city, it's a good Eruv. Vim bisadeh avad Eruv Eruv. If you lost it in the field, it's not a good Eruv. And that's going to be the same thing as Rav Eliezer in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Vi b'yamtif. You just finished telling me that the Mishnah is talking about yamtif. Mali ir, mali sadeh. What's the difference if it's in the city? What's the difference if it's in the field? So now the Gemara says, okay, we're going to throw in a bunch of extra words, and we're going to make everything make sense. You put it into the tower. And you shut the door. And you lost the key. Eruv is good Eruv. When is it a good Eruv? B'yamtif, only in Yamtif. Aval b'Shabbos in Eruv. Nimsa hamaftech. Now you go and you found your key. So we just said a moment ago, Shabbos no good, Yontif yes good. Then you found the key. Bein be'ir, bein b'sadeh, in Eruv Eruv. It's no good, says the Tana Kama. Still not a good Eruv. Rav Eliezer Omer, be'ir in the city, then Eruv Eruv. I agree with you, it's going to be good Eruv. B'sada in Eruv Eruv. What is the reason? What's going on over here? Why in the field is it no good? The city's yes good, says the Gemara. Be'ir, the reason it's good Eruv Eruv, because again, we're talking about a case where you found the key on Shabbos. How you get into your Eruv? Good, you found the key, but how do you get the key to the box, to the tower, to the migdal, to open up to this closet? Kirev Shimon. Going to the opinion of Rav Shimon, Damar, Echad Gagos, Vedek Chaseros, Vedek Karfifos, V'shachas Achas in the Kelim, the opinion of Rav Shimon, which we've seen many times. Rav Shimon allows you to carry through all these intermediary Rishuyos, Gagos, Chaseros, Karfifos. It's all considered run Rishosh, Shavsa, B'seichon, to items that were inside them before Shabbos, and therefore you're going to be able to get your key and bring it to your tower, and therefore that's why it's good Eruv. Bisadeh, but in the field, Ein Eruv Eruv. Why? K'Rabbanan, like the opinion of the Rabbanan, who argue on Rav Shimon, and therefore you're Pashtas, we'll see Rashi in one moment, and therefore you're not going to be able to get to your Eruv. That is the end of the first way of explaining the Mishnah. Before we continue, let's take one moment and swing over here to Rashi. Rashi says, that we understand. The whole reason why it's Yom Tif is because on Shabbos you can't even take apart those bricks. The less later of Shimon, that's it. Sorry, I thought there was another Rashi that we had to see. There is not another Rashi, and then therefore let's continue. Says the Gemara. That was the first teretz, how we explained up the Mishnah that we're talking about Yom Tif. Talking about Avir Delivni, that's why Tanakam holds you can be able to break it down and get to your Eruv. According to Rav Eliezer, in the field, no good. In the city, yes good. Why is it going to be good in the city? Opinion Rav Shimon, that when you find the key, you can go and carry it. Derech, Gagois, Chaseros, and Karfifos. Rabba, Rav Yosef, Darmi Travayu, a different teretz. We're talking about a migdal, a tower made of wood. The Marsa, and now, so therefore, who cares? Tower made of wood, what's the difference? The Marsavar Klihu, Ve'ein, Binyan Bekelim, Ve'ein Stir Bekelim, a very important rule that we've seen in Gemara and Shabbos. It's a Kli, it's a utensil, and you're allowed to destroy utensils on Shabbos, seemingly, and therefore you'll be able to get to your Eruv, and that's why, according to the Tanakama, it's going to be a good Eruv. Umar Savar and Rav Eliezer also, Ayalu, it's a tent, it's a canopy, and you can't get to it on Shabbos. Let's just make one disclaimer, which we've made this disclaimer in Gemara and Shabbos many times, and as much as Ein Stir Bekelim, lahalacha, we are machmir, in many cases, yesh stira bekelim, and therefore one should not just go opening every bottle and package and everything in the world indiscriminately. Certain things yes, certain things no. Just give one example where a mistake is often made is when it comes to open a metal bottle cap. There, everyone says Rishon Zalman is makel to open bottle caps. That is true, but not in metal bottle caps. Metal bottle caps, even Rishon Zalman agrees is going to be forbidden. Well, Yashav held it was going to be an Issa Deraisa. There is perhaps one opinion, Dain Fisher, Siliaka Fisher, who holds that that is mutter. But again, it's important that we shouldn't just say, in Sir Bekilim, everything is mutter. That's not really so true. A larger discussion, not for now. But again, so how do we answer up the Mishnah? The Tanakhama that said it's a good Erev is why? Because Ein Stir Bekilim, it's a wooden Keli, and therefore you're allowed to break it open to get your Erev. Rav Eliezer held it's not a good Erev. Why? Because it's an oil, it's a canopy. And what's this machlok as? Look to Dani Tanai, the following Tanaim, it's not even learned in the Mishnah. Hey, Kish al Gabe Shida Teva Migdal. You have a Zav, you have someone who's Tameh, that pushes a box, a Shida Teva Migdal, a tower. Tamein, the box is going to be Tameh. Again, a Zav, someone who sees an emission and therefore is Tameh, goes and pushes, knocks into this box. Kash, I think is Lashon of like knocking, and moves this box, it's going to be Tameh. Ram Nachemia, Rav Shimon B'Tairin. Rav Shimon says, no, you move the box, I don't care, it's still tar. What's going on over here? My lab, Balkamifli. This is the machlekes. Mar Savar Kli, who Mar Savar Ayalu. One man Dharma holds it's a kli, and therefore, if it's a kli, it's not going to be mekabel tuma. And the other man dharma holds it's going to be an oil, and therefore, the opposite. Well, first man dharma holds it's a kli, therefore it is yes mekabel tuma. That's why you see I just swung up to Rashi. Of course, Rashi always teaches us. Rashi says ayalu v'loy mekabel tuma. If it's a utensil, it's yes mekabel tuma. If it's an oil, you see the top of your page, it's the second narrow line of Rashi. If it's an oil, if it's a canopy, then it's not mekabel tuma. So seemingly the same machlokes by the Shida Devo Migdal, whether it's mekabel tuma or not, meaning is it a kli, is it a utensil, or is it an oil, is it a canopy? It's going to be the same machlokes with regard to Eruvin. Is it a kli and therefore will be yes good Eruv because you can break it open, or is it a canopy and therefore will be not good Eruv? Amar Abaye comes like Abaye, and Abaye says, whoa, what's going on here? V'tizra, is that logical? V'atan into the Braisa, oil. If you have a tent, a canopy, v'niseit, and you move it, tameh. It's tameh, which right then, that just broke the rules we just said. We just said a moment ago, if it's an oil, it's not mekabel tuma. What do you mean? Clear brisa, oil, hesed means you move it, tameh, it's mekabel tuma, it's tameh, what's going on over here? Kli, but if it's utensil, ve'enoi nisit, and it doesn't move, then tar. Ve'ketani seifa, ve'mai nisutin, but everyone agrees, nisutin, if they both move, tameh. Zakla, what's the rule? Nisit machmas koichoi, if the koyach, if the power, if the force of the zav, of the person who's tameh, moves the item, tameh, then it's tameh. Machmas ra'adoi, if it moves because of his vibration, not because of his actual koyach, not I actually pushed it. I jumped on the floor bounced, and that made a move or something like that, then tar, then it's going to be tar. So the Gemara clearly says that the raya that you just brought is not a good raya. You wanted to say the machlekes Tanakama and Rav Eliezer. Tanakama holds it's a clean seer bekilim, therefore it's yes good eir. Rav Eliezer holds it's an oil, it's a canopy, and therefore it's not a good Eruv, and it's the same machlekes like we see in this Mishnah, whether a zav is going to impart tumah to this item. Is it a kli, and therefore yes? Is it an oil, and therefore no? Says Gemara, what are you talking about? We see clearly in the Brayse, even when it's an oil, it can be mekabel tumah. Elamar Abaye nubshat. The kuli alma hesin machmas koi choy tameh. Everyone agrees, you're right, that if you push an item, if it moves due to your kayak, due to your power, even by an oil, even a canopy is going to be tummy. Machmas ra'adoi. If the item moves due to your vibrations, it's basically, the Rube Goldberg machine. If you move A and it moves B, so if I hit something here and it causes that to move, the vibration, the bounce back, tar is going to be tar. What's the machlekes? What is the halacha if I push something and then that causes a vibration? What's that? How do we view that? Is that called my vibration or is that called my koyach? First man Dharma holds that's called hesed. That's called you moved it, therefore it's tamei. The other man holds it's not called hesed, therefore it's not tamei. Umas nisan. So now great, good. We answered up tama. We answered up the hikish hazav. We answered up what's going on over there. But our Mishnah b'mayim k'min Allah apayev damar tavayu b'minol v'koter b'misnaskinon. The Mishnah is a different shot. The Mishnah is that there's a rope and it's tied on with a lock. So you have a lock with a rope. These were the types of locks they had back then. And how do you open it up? You got to cut the rope. And you need a knife to cut the rope to get to your ear. So again, this is the third attempt. The third shot in the Mishnah. The second one didn't work out so well. So the third shot in the Mishnah is that it's locked up with a rope, and you got to get a knife to cut open the rope. So Tanakama started like Rav Yosi. Tanakama holds like Rav Yosi. The Amar This is the halacha l'maisa, as we've seen many times in Gemara and Shabbos. Any utensil you're allowed to take on Shabbos, except for the plowshare, except for the giant saw, except for kli machas chasar and kis. But every other item, a regular knife, a regular scissor, even you could take. And therefore, can you cut open this knife, cut open this rope? Of course you could, and you could get to your ear if that's the Tanakama. Rav Eliezer Savar Krem Nechemya. The famous opinion of Rav Nechemya, the Amar, Afilu Talas, Afilu Tarveid, Eini Telas, El Terus Tashmishan. Every item in the world is only allowed to take for its tashmish. You're not allowed to take it for its usage. You're not allowed to take it for anything else. And Rashi over here points out, Ve'ikar Tashmisha Shel Sakin, and the primary usage of a knife is not to cut ropes, rather just to cut meat and bread. And that's the reason why you would not be allowed to take the knife, and therefore you won't be allowed to get to your Eruv. And that's where Rav Eliezer holds. It's not a good Eruv. And that is how the Gemara concludes. The second understanding of the Mishnah is whether you could take the knife to cut open the rope to get to your Eruv. That's what Tanakama says. It's good Eruv. Rav Eliezer says it is not a good Eruv. Says the Mishnah, Lamed Hey Amid Aleph, for a last quarter of the Amid. Niskalgel chutz letzchom. You have an Eruv, you made an Eruv, everything's goody dandy. What happens? Comes the wind, blows your Eruv outside the tzchum. Now what do you do? Nafel of gal, or a pile of stones fall on top of your Eruv. Oy nisraf, your Eruv burns up. Or truma, or the Eruv was truma, you're a kain, vinit meis, and becomes tamei. Miboid yoim, if any of these happen on Friday before Shabbos, in Eruv, it's not a good Eruv, what should I do for you? It's too late, Shabbos began, and you didn't have an Eruv, it was outside the tzchum, it was burnt up, it was tamei. Mishech hashicha, but if it happened Friday night, after nightfall, after you were kain of shvisa during ben hashmashais, hariz Eruv is good Eruv. In Safek, you're not sure, you don't know. You don't know when it happened. Rameir Rav Yudaimer, Hariz Chamar Gamal. This is a camel driver, donkey driver. We'll say what that means in a minute. Rav Shimon Aimer, Safek Eruv Kasher. Here's Rav Shimon holds, it's Kasher. Amar Rav Yesi Avotilmis, Hey Mishov Chamish, the Kingdom of Safek Eruv Shekasher. So again, the second opinion holds it's Kasher. The first opinion, Rameir and Rav Yudah said it's a Chamar Gamal. What is Chamar Gamal? So the Rashi explains over here, there's different ways of leading a Chamar and leading a Gamal. One, you lead the front of the animal, you hold the reins, and you walk in front of the animal. And the other one, you hold from behind the animal. I'm not going to try to remember which is which, because I'm going to make a mistake. If you look at Rashi over here, he tells you. And therefore, if you're leading both a camel and a donkey, what are you going to do? You're going to be stuck in the middle. Because one of them, you're going to hold from the front of the animal, the other one, you hold from behind the animal. So you have a chamar on one end and a camel on the other end. And a gamal on the other end. So what do? You're in the middle. So that's the quintessential case of a safek. Because now, when you want to know to be kain shvisa, where are you? I don't know. My camel's back in the middle, and that is the first opinion. Says the Gemara, if the item rolls outside the chum, of course, don't make a mistake. When it has to roll away, we know every person has his own 4 amos. Says Rava, you get your own dalet amos. So if it rolls, don't be so nervous. If it's within 6 feet, 7 feet, whatever it is, 4 amos, it's going to be enough because it's still going to be considered within your own rishos. It's only an issue if it goes outside of that. Nafel of gal, if a pile of stones fall upon it, says the Gemara, Kesal Gadaitach, Di Mati Shakalei, Di Bai, Mati Shakalei. So we think right now, what's the case? Case is you put your bottle of wine, you put a loaf of bread at the end of the town. And what happens? A wall falls on top of it, all these stones in it. So we think right now, you could stick your hand underneath and get out the Eruv. So, and therefore, what would that show us? Because the Kirebi, it's just a shvus. It's an Isra Rabbanan to move these broken stones. You're allowed to do that. So seemingly the Mishnah would not be like Rabbi. Says Gemara, no, if you look at Rabbi, it's like Rabbi. That you need a shovel, you need a hoe, and therefore not just that you need a shovel, because the shovel is also much, that also wouldn't be the issue. But you need to actually dig, you need to be over, this is the raisa to get to the Eruv, and therefore that would not be allowed even being hashmashais, and that's why it's no good. Explains the Gemara, we needed both cases in the Mishnah. Ditan in this kalgo, if it just had the case that it rolls outside the Chum, I would have thought, it's not by you. You don't have the Eruv here. You're here, the Eruv's out there, it's no good. I will never of gal, but one would have thought that what happens if the Eruv's right next to me, there just happens to be a pile of stones and I can't get it. The Isa Gabe is right next to Ema Lehave Eruv. I would have had a thought, maybe it's good Eruv, because at the end of the day it's right next to me, and maybe I don't care that I can't get it. Vitan a novel of gal, and if it's at the case where the wall falls in it, I would have thought, well, Misham the Mechsi, because it's covered up. But when it rolls outside the Tzchum, maybe, who knows? Maybe a wind's going to come and blow back to me. So I would think maybe it's a good air, even though it's not right next to me, but the bottom line is not covered up. Therefore we need both cases, the case where it's covered over, which again has the Maila, that it's right next to you has the chesaron that it can't blow to you, and the case of outside the chum, which has the maila that it can blow to you, and the chesaron that it's far away from you. Therefore, we needed both cases. Sricha, that's what the Mishnah had to teach the first two cases. The Mishnah continues, the last time of the Gemara, Lamed Heyam and Aleph, Ein Nisraf, or the item burns up, Truma, Vinitz Mace, or if it's Truma gets tummy. Says the Gemara, Lama Li Tana Nisraf. Why did the Mishnah have to say this case if you're getting burnt up? Moving along to Lamed Heyam and base, Laidiach, Koychay Rav Yesi. To teach us the Koyach of Rav Yesi who said that Suffolk is going to be okay. So in this case, even though it's not in the world, it's burnt up. So maybe it's not here at all. Still, Rav Yesi's suffix is okay. It's tremendous power of Rav Yesi, tremendous chiddush. That's why he said the case of burning it up. Tana truma v'nitmeis l'diya koycha d'Rebbe, and the opposite. It said the case of truma. I became Talmud teaches the chiddush of Reb Meir. I'm sorry, l'diya koycha d'Reb Meir. Teaches the chiddush of Reb Meir that it's not good. That even though it's here, the item is here. It's right in front of me. It's just tamei and I can't eat it. So that itself is also tremendous chiddush. So you can't do it. That's why it said both those cases. Says the Gemara. Okay, now let's go into this whole suffix business. This is going to take us all the way through the whole Amud into tomorrow. We said in the Mishnah we had a machlekes what the din is by suffix. This says the Gemara. Savar Ameir Sveika l'chumra. Are you telling me that Ameir holds that a suffix is no good? It's l'chumra. It's astringent. But now we learned in the Mishnah. Tamei sheyared litval. Someone who's tamei, and he goes into the mikvah. Safek tavel, safek loy tavel. And you're not sure whether it was a good tefillah. You're not sure whether you fully emerged. You're not sure, maybe there was a hair sticking out. You're not sure if it was a good tefillah. Va'afilu tavel, and even if you went into the mikvah when you were tavel, safek tavel bar bamsa, safek loy tavel bar bamsa. You're not sure if the mikvah is kosher. A mikvah needs 40 sa. You're not sure if the mikvah is kosher. That's one case. But similarly, you have two mikvahs. Bach has the one of the mikvahs each bar and sa. Has 40 sa, it's kosher. Bach has the other one in bar and sa. Doesn't have 40 sa and it's possible. But tavel bach's me'em. And you went into one of them. You don't remember. Did I go into hot or cold? Did I go into kosher puzzle? You don't remember. What's the din? Says this brisa. Sveikoi tamei. It's tamei. It doesn't work. But we explained the brisa. That's when betoma chamura. That's only when someone is tamei midaraisa. If someone's tamei midaraisa, and then they need to go toivel, then we have a safek. Then we're machmir. Avol betoma kala. But if it's a toma derabanan, a light type of toma, going for example, which we've seen that midaraisa food and drinks don't make one tamei. Midrabanan, I think we saw the measurement was a peisa. Then midrabanan, if you have food and drinks, it makes you tamei. Or someone takes a bath in poured waters, which we know was exir derabanan. That person is tamei after taking the bath because someone might think that it's a mikvah. Which is also exir derabanan when 3 lig of water falls on a person that he's tamei derabanan shuvim. V'yaret litval. And then in that case, in the case where he's tamei midrabanan, he goes into b'tayvel, goes to the mikvah. Safek tavel, safek loy tavel. He's not sure if he went in. Safek tavel, va'afilu tavel, and even if he went in, safek tavel barbamsa, safek loy tavel barbamsa. You're not sure if the mikvah was kosher. V'chei shnei mikvahis is simply 2 mikvahis. Ba'achzei shem arba'asa, ba'achzei ben arasa. V'tavel ba'achzei, and he went into one of them. And Yutebi ben tavel. What's the din? Sfeikoi tar. Then sfeikoi tar. What's the reason sfeikoi tar? Because it's a din derabanan. So the problem is, we started off. We said Meir holds safek l'chomra. Says Mar, 1 second. Erev Techumim is a din derabanan. We see clearly in this brisa that on derabanans, on a tummy, on a tuma derabanan, a cow type of tuma, or someone who ate something not kosher, someone who went into mayim shuvim, any case of tuma derabanan, and we say safek is likula. Only on tuma deraisa do they say safek l'chomra. So why in our case the Rameir say safek l'chomra? Rav Yosi mitame, and Rav Yosi says it's tamei. That's the end of the brisa. But the Tanakama, who's the Tanakama? Stam Mishnah is Rameir. So the Tanakama here is Rameir, and Rameir clearly, seemingly, the Tanakama in this price Stam differentiates between whether it's Tamakala and it's Tar. So why did Rameir say he's Machmer in our case? Says the Gemara, Kosavar Rameir, Tchumin Daraisa, an important shita to remember, the shita of Rameir who holds Tchum is an Isser De'araisa, and that's why he's Machmer. Says the Gemara. So 1 second. Does Rameir really hold that? But tonight we learn to the Mishnah. If you're not able to literally swallow it up, b'zu. That you make a hole through the mountains. What's going on over here? You're trying to measure the tchum, and you have valleys and you have mountains. So how do you measure a valley and a mountain? There's 2 ways. Either you take your rope and you go over the mountain down the valley, which obviously would be very long. And obviously then you'd have a much shorter tchum. Because it goes out 2,000 amas, you'd have a much shorter tchum. Or what do? Or you could go over it. So if you go over it, that's okay. But what if you can't? It's too long, you can't swallow it up. then we say Shamati Shemekadrin Bahadrin, that you're allowed to go directly through the mountain. You're allowed to view it as if the mountain was hollow. You make like a tunnel, and when you're measuring, as if it goes straight to the mountain. It says the Gemara, 1 second. Are you able to go straight through it? When we come to measuring items, Ein mekadrin, loy bari miklat, v'loy be'agla arufa. Why? Mimnei she'ein shel Torah. Whenever it's a din d'oraisa, we don't let you do mikadrin. We don't let you measure something as if it's straight through. On a din d'oraisa, we measure l'chumra. So if you're telling me the Rameir holds that tchumen is a d'oraisa, so how over here in this brisa are we saying that you're going to be mikadrin? Says the Gemara, loy kasha, hadi deya derabe. One's him himself, and one is his Rebbe. Tekenami, I'll bring you a proof. Teketani, bezu, Amar Distoy Rav Yani, Mishum Rameir, Shamati Shemekadrim Baharim. He said, Shamati, I heard that the Mekadrim Baharim. And that's a way of showing that Rameir heard it from his Rebbe, and it's not the Shita of Rameir himself. So the Shita of Rameir himself is Chumim Derabanan. The Shita of Rameir himself, is Chumim Daraisa. This last thing that we said is Mekadrin, is Rameir from his Rebbe. That's when we're not going to do it. I think I said that backwards. The Shita Rameir himself, is Tchumim is a De'araisa. Very good. This last price that said you're going to be able to do Mekadrin is Rameir saying from his Rebbe that Tchum is a Derabanan. Shema Mina. We're going to stop over here. It's a little bit early because the next question, when we ask Rameir Deraisa, the Rameir, is going to go all the way into the next summit. I'll pick it up from there tomorrow.